It's time for my pick'ems for the next week of VCT, but before we do that, let's go a rewind and take a look at what happened in the last week with the best and worst rounds of last week. Let's start positive with the best round, which is coming in from Primmy.
And there are those sonic sensors.
Nice bailout from T1. Kept DH alive.
Oh, slight crossfire for Ty and Jit Boys now. But looking to play off contact on each other as well. T1 feeling the confidence of going for the swings though! 2 kills! And now Primmy left alone, but he finds the tap! What? Just a full burst into the back, and it's a quad kill to pull out the clutch!
But now, let's come to the worst round of the week. And actually, we have to show multiple. And again, I actually forgot to do this last week, but again, last week I would have shown you multiple rounds. I could have just shown you the whole of KCA picks if I'm being real. But for the worst round of the week, first let's take a look at this from Furia, which I just want to point out, they don't have a great buy in this round.
And for third, fourth round in a row. This time the drone has to come in. We can't take it that slow this time.
They found the cam.
That's a win. We take those. They've got the sight. Also take those. Now, I mean, the bad guns at close range when you've got some utility to play off of.
Remember, this is where 2G struggled. In positions where they should be able to put this away. And silliness happens. This time it was Paula who gives his life away.
And LZ walking through A once again. 2G really aren't changing anything. Are we ulting?
Oh no.
In a 3v5?
With no scale up behind it. TP backside. Rango's repositioned into a cheeky little spot. Only 1 kill found. Prize is the one who has the op, and Verso has ult. They're going to play for the post plant around the ult. He's gotten it to half. Verso can't stop this. I'm going to let you break that down.
So that's that, but I would be remiss if I didn't show you one of the most insane moments, I think, in VCT history from Miniboo.
Is gone, and a thorn in the side with Miniboo destroying the camera inside of Garage. They now don't know about their back. They'll make up for it by pushing forward quickly, taking that space back.
Oh, too low.
Kovac almost went down as well. His shield's been broken. Shots back from Woot will take him out. There's the capitalization on the camera being taken out early. Miniboo wraps around and the round is over. Win or lose, you will be taken down when you... Oh, no! He shot too early and Kicks is gifted the round. That should have been it.
So yeah, that was certainly something that happened in VCT. Let's kick off our pick'ems with China, which actually is in a playoff bracket. And before we get into that, first we need to talk about the points in China, because Wolves did not make the playoffs of China. However, they can still make it, because they sit currently, as you see, in 4th place, okay? They are currently in 4th place here. And there are 2 teams who are still in contention that can catch them, which is Trace and DRG. So let's dive into the Chinese playoff bracket and talk about what's going to happen. Now, for Wolves to make it, it is quite simple. They need 2 of 3 teams, Zhilai, Bilibili, or EDG. They need 2 of these 3 teams to end up in the grand final. Now, as you can see, 2 of these teams already have a bye. So already that's pretty good for Wolves, right? The 2 of the teams that they need to make it are already on their way. The teams that they need to be worried about, well, they can't have anyone else finish in the top 2. They need 2 of these 3 to finish in the top 2. But the other 2 teams they need to be worried about are Trace and DRG. Now, Trace cannot finish in the top 4. So they have to finish this way of this line. So this is the Trace line, and DRG cannot finish 3rd. So this is the DRG line, essentially. If DRG get into this lower final, then Wolves are out. If Trace get to here, then Wolves are out. So that is basically what Wolves need. They need all of that to come together. But actually, it's possible. Let me show you why it's possible. Because EDG play against DRG, and EDG are a better team than DRG, so therefore will beat DRG. That's part 1. AG play Thai Glue. Who would have thought All Gluers and Thai Glue would be here playing a playoff match against each other? I'm actually going to go for AG just there, right? But then DRG, if EDG win this game, DRG play against Trace in the lowers. So that means that one of the 2 teams is already eliminated if this happens, okay? So I'm going to say in this scenario that DRG beat Trace. Let's put DRG through. I'm going to say that FPX beat Tai Lu. And then we get Zhilai versus EDG, which again, if EDG win this game, that means that at least one of these teams that Wolves need to finish in the grand final will be getting to the upper final. I'm going to go G-Lai just there. I'm going to say that Billy can beat all gamers. And if this happens, then Wolves are guaranteed at least one of the slots to be in this grand final. I'm going to go for Billy. So therefore, let's put Billy there. We're almost there. We're almost there at this point if we're Wolves. If this happened, at this point, all Wolves would need is G-Lai to win the lower final and DRG to not finish in this lower final. Like, if we get to this spot, which I think is very possible, Wolves are in very good spot. You know what? I'll even say that DRG will win this game, even though I actually think AG might be a bit better than them. I will say that DRG win that game. Because you know what's going to happen? What's going to happen is this. EDG are going to win that. And EDG are going to win that. And EDG are going to go on a run. And EDG are going to win. Because it's EDG. And it's stage 2. And I know EDG haven't looked great. It's classic EDG though. They've done this before. And I'll say that they will do it again. And if that did happen, Wolves will go to champs. So let's hope that it does happen. Let's move on now to Pacific, which obviously is coming to its last week. Now, last week I had a disaster in the Pacific Pickems. I mean, look at this. Okay, I got Gen G right. Good job. Talon beating T1. It was a possible you could have gone for that pick. I didn't. You know, fair enough. I took a punt on Boom. I was wrong. I took a punt on Global. There was a lot of, you know, close 50-50 games that I just was on the wrong side of. And then there was also this game that was not a 50-50 game that everyone was on the wrong side of because no one will have picked Zeta Division to beat Paper Rex. I'm going to go Gen G. I'm going to pick against Talon because Talon, it's a weak thing, right? They won both games here and then they lost to DFM and then they beat T1 and so they must lose now. It's a week by week. It's not game by game. It's week by week. We know that. So Talon must lose against Paper Rex. Sorry, Global. Sorry, Elevated. It's over. DRX win. Boom, Zeta. I mean, how could you not pick Zeta Division at this point after what they just did? I think you have to, right? You surely just have to. RRQ versus Secret. You know what? I'm going to go in for a surprise. This happened last time as well when Secret won this game. I'm gonna say it happens again. This is my surprise pick of the week. And then can DFM beat T1? Could it happen? There is a world, by the way, that DFM win this group. If Talon beat Paper X and DFM beat T1, DFM will get a bye, which would be crazy. I'm going to say that it doesn't happen, and I'm going to play it safe with T1. But I do think that this DFM boat is a little bit more promising than I thought. Then on to EMEA, where you can see my Pickems doing much better. You know, I'm towards the top here, right? Doing pretty well. Only got Koi versus Kamiko wrong last week. I got 5 out of 6 the last 2 weeks. I'm doing well. Foot versus Heretics. One of the reasons I am doing well in EMEA is because I've been able to predict every Foot game correctly. Oh, well, actually, I got the Gentle Mates one wrong first week, but then I picked Foot in what was a surprise at the time, Vitality beating them, and then I picked them in a surprise again of them being Giants, and I've been right every time, but they won't beat Heretics. Now, Koi Apex. I think Koi played well the first 2 weeks, and I think they were disastrous last week. I think they were really, really bad last week. And I actually think if both teams play like they did last week, Apex will win. I'm going to pick Koi because I'm the Koi believer. But I actually think this is very close, and that you very should consider hard that Apex will win this game. Personally, if Koi play like they did last week, it's not going to go well. Gentlemates versus Giants. Look, I know that Gentlemates can't close out any game. They actually have played some pretty good Valorant. I'm going to pick Gentlemates. I know that seems like a throw. Navi KC. Here's the other thing. I think that Navi, if they play like they did last week, have a great chance. I'm actually going to go with Navi in a bit of a surprise. But I think that that's very open, right? Vitality versus BBL. Again, it's another tough game to call. I'm gonna go BBL. Yeah, this is a true coin flip. I'm gonna go BBL, but you could go either way. And then I am gonna go Fnatic over Liquid. I think the Liquid are actually... That was probably the worst Team Liquid I've seen in some time. I don't think Fnatic played that great either against Navi, but Fnatic they just always find a way. I'm going Fnatic. And then into Americas, where again, I got 5 out of 6. So Americas also is going, fairly well these past couple of weeks. Cloud9 versus 2G. This is a very important game for 2G. If 2G win this game, their chances of getting back into Ascension are actually pretty good. But I don't think they'll do it. I think Cloud9 will win. MIBR versus NRG. Now, this is the one game I got wrong, which was MIBR turning up again against 100 Thieves. Will they ride that momentum to be... I think they will. I think they will. Look, I want this to happen. I want them to be back, so I'm just going to predict that it will be the case. Sen EG, I'm going to go Sen. Lev Crew. Man, that's a tough game to call. I'm going to go Crew, though. I'm going to go Crew. I think they'll get it together. I have more faith in their ceiling. G2 are going to beat Furia. And then Loud 100 Thieves. I'm not picking Loud. I'm just not picking Loud. Who do they play in the Loud? Oh, yeah, I'm not picking against MIBR either. I'm not picking Loud. Loud, I'm saying will only win one game. I'm saying 100 Thieves will win. And so that's my pick'ems for the next week. Some tough games to call this week, so hopefully it will be an interesting week of VCT. Let me know what you think in the comments down below.